Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tartar Zone. The media have confirmed some source information that we had gotten a very, very long time ago about the possibility of a Doctor Who confidential type show. And guess what's happened? Guess what's happened, folks? What always happens when I put stuff out there, whether it comes out in a few weeks, a few months, or a year later, since RTD's announcement, it ends up coming to fruition. So anybody that's been following this channel knows that I'm actually talking and telling the truth because, you know, as I said, you guys have listened to what I have said on this channel when it came to this stuff. And again, we broke this when nobody else would. And then, of course, I got the usual crap from the other side that put out rumors and leaks that I was putting out false information. Well, let me tell you, folks, not one of those guys got this, by the way, before me anyway, if they have reported on it, which I doubt they have because they never seem to get any legitimate information right at all, but then go and criticize other people who put it out. But I'll read you the article. So David Tennant apparently has confirmed there will be a Doctor Who confidential type show. I think it's going to be called Doctor Who Unleashed, which I think we already spoke about Unleashed before that name had popped up already. But it's happened. And again, as I said, you know, on this channel, you know, a lot of people think when we put information out, especially the other side, they expect it to come to fruition straight away because they're impatient, you see. But when they don't like something you put out, they criticize you and they say that you're putting out false facts. Well, I spoke about this before anybody else did. Right? I even had guests on the channel that spoke about this. And you can go back and watch those streams. They're there for everybody to see. But we spoke about this. We spoke about the information that we'd received, that this show, that they were going to do a type of show like this. And, you know, we even spoke about the possibilities of where this could be shown. And we even mentioned BBC Three. As you know, BBC Three now has come back from what it was. And now it's back to whatever it is now, proper channel or whatever. I remember back in the old days, RTD did use BBC Three to put some Doctor Who content on. And I think that's where he will put it on. It will be put on BBC Three. Because remember, unless you're outside the UK, obviously you will have to get Disney Plus. And then Disney Plus will obviously show that as well at the night of the episode. But for people in the UK and Ireland, we get to see it. They're not going to show it on BBC One anyway, right after the main show. We know that because they have a tight schedule on that and they have a certain schedule. So it's either going to be shown on BBC Two, which I doubt, or it's going to be BBC Three. If I was a guessing man, I would say BBC Three, folks, to be quite honest with you. Well, RTD was going to bring that back anyway, says PD Rich. Well, not necessarily, you know, I mean, it would have been logical to think that he would, in fairness to you. I have to give you that. I mean, it wouldn't be a long stretch of the imagination and you wouldn't have to be Sherlock Holmes. You know what I mean? But we did speak about this. People that have been following this channel a long time know. And I had people on that actually discussed it with us. So, you know, again, it's something that we spoke about that's come true. And yeah, still to this day, folks, I still get criticized by these people. And you know what? It's a simple fact of the matter. And I'll say it because I know they're listening. Because one particular YouTuber and Twitter account can't help because they keep retweeting me streams anyway when I go live on Twitter. So I'll just say it out straight. You're just jealous because you'll never get the information that I get, and you go to Reddit and 4chan and all those other places to get your rumors, which are not legit. None of them are, never have been, and never will be. I even called out the Reddit hoax last year, did a whole stream on it where I exposed several people on Reddit putting out the same similar rumor, but just changing the words around. It was clear that there were people working with each other and in tangent to help you guys get your rumors onto your channels, right? Not even legit. And then he's criticised me for putting out legit stuff. Well, anyway, let's get into this article. The article is in the link description, folks. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, unfortunately, you can't leave a comment on Twitter yet. Elon, get that sorted. If you are on Facebook, you can make a comment on Facebook, but it will come up Facebook user. So if you do leave a comment on Facebook, please leave your name at the end of it so I can give you a shout out. And of course, you guys watching on YouTube can directly send a comment on YouTube, and I will be able to see it on screen. So let's see who we have in the chat. We got 9 people watching at the moment on YouTube. So let's see who we've got. We've got Criblin Dubloon. We've got PD Rich. We've got TARDIS Team. We got Scottish Stavros and friends wrestle with pop culture in the chat. So let's see. I should bring that up. Apparently, there will be an exciting announcement made on Friday, the 21st of April, on Blue Peter. Now, I haven't watched Blue Peter in decades, to be quite honest with you. I used to grow up, watch that as a kid, like most people, I suppose, in the UK and Ireland. I grew up with Blue Peter. I used to love it, Andy Peters and stuff like that. All the old hosts as well, and of course the dogs. Blue Peter was famous for its dogs. But apparently there is going to be an exciting announcement made on Blue Peter on the 24th, Friday, the 21st of April at 5 p.m. Now, what we will do is normally we have the TARDIS Zone talks at 5:45. But what I will do is I will actually go live early that day, and then we'll wait for Christian then to join us, and then we'll see if he's seen it and get his reaction to it as well. So I'll give you my reaction. So we'll have an extra long TARDIS Zone talks on Friday, the 21st of April. We'll be starting a little bit earlier because we want to see what this announcement is all about. But let's get into this article anyway, guys. And as I said, we will see what this is all about. So no thanks. Why would I? You know what? I hate the way this happens now, right? They pop up this thing, subscribe. I will never subscribe to the Radio Times. The way the Radio Times treated fans during the Chris Chibnall era, the articles that you made attacking fans when they dared criticize the Chris Chibnall era. And you know what the funny thing about it is now? The very same media, the very same fans that were having a go at us for criticizing are now actually criticizing. It's actually funny, but they just didn't want us to criticize Jordan the show, Jordan the era. I'm sorry. You know, if you're willing to take that crap and not speak up, well, then you're part of the problem, right? And this is what I've been trying to say. I don't like the fact that some YouTubers went away. But, you know, after hearing certain YouTuber stories about how their family and friends were treated, I never knew that was going on. I never knew that this person was getting it as bad as I was, because obviously my friends and my wife were attacked. So I know exactly where they're coming from. But still, again, people out there that were involved in this are literally making themselves out to be the victims in all of this, which is unbelievable to me. And I'm talking about the people that targeted this poor fella. They're making themselves out to be the victim. Yeah, They're the ones that did all the damage. Anyway, David Tennant confirms return of Doctor Who style confidential show. A successor to the fan favorite series has been rumored for some time. Yeah, the TARDIS Zone. Thank you. David Tennant seems to have confirmed the return of the behind-the-scenes series Doctor Who Confidential, following earlier rumours of the fan favourite show heading back to BBC Three. Again, what we spoke about. I wonder who they actually think broke the news, the rumour. It'd be very funny if it's one of the side that never get Anton right. Last week, it was reported that Doctor Who Unleashed, a spiritual successor to Confidential, would premiere along the upcoming 60th anniversary special starring Tennant and Catherine Tate. Speaking at a recent GalaxyCon event, Tennant added fuel to the fire by referencing a behind-the-scenes crew on the set of his new episodes. Although there is no official confirmation just yet of any such project existing. It's absolutely thrilling, he said, recalling his meeting with Doctor Who comic book creators. It was all filmed by all various Doctor Who Confidential style people. You'll see all of that. But it is very exciting for us, for them to visit us on set. So even though David Tennant has kind of let the cat out of the bag, it hasn't been made official just yet. But it will be made official if he's speaking about it. And he has said that the people that were running Doctor Who Confidential were on set. So it's a guaranteed nail on. And if it's coming out of David Tennant's mouth, even though the Radio Times is saying it's not official, we can take it that as an official confirmation. David Tennant wouldn't come out and say stuff like that if it wasn't true. So some fans have interpreted this as definite proof of Doctor Who Confidential. I would agree. And perhaps his new title, Unleashed, although others have shown caution about getting prematurely overexcited. After all, it is possible the Doctor Who Confidential style people that Tennant refers to could simply have been working on a special feature for the eventual DVD and Blu-ray releases or content for social media. However, the explicit reference to Confidential is bound to raise eyebrows. Now, the Radio Times apparently has approached BBC for comment and is awaiting responses. I doubt the Radio Times will get the exclusive to this. I'm pretty sure it'll be, if it's going to be announced, maybe the Blue Peter thing at 5 o'clock is exactly that. It could be that. It could be something else that they're announcing on Blue Peter. But again, we so yeah, we're all waiting to see what that announcement will be. We've got the warped eyebrow in the chat as well. Well, let me know what you think, guys. Of course, I know there's some of you in the chat that are not going to watch, so you don't need to comment and let us know that you're not going to watch. We know you're not going to watch. But if there are people in the chat that are going to watch Doctor Who, what are your opinions on a confidential style show returning alongside the main show, showing us the behind the scenes and all of that? Would you guys be in favor of that? Let me know in the chat, and I will read some of your comments out, and it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how everybody is feeling on it. The warped eyebrow says it depends on whether Doctor Who becomes good again. Yeah, well, I know right now for a lot of people that's kind of up in the air right now. But I've always said that, we should wait and see the show on the screen first before we make any judgments on the writing and stuff like that. We haven't seen that yet, so while there is a bit of fan concern about castings and stuff like that, we still haven't seen that yet, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. TARDIS team says it would be nice to see Confidential or something like that, as it is interesting to see how some of the effects are achieved and see the read-throughs. I agree. Confidential went hand in hand with the RTD era. And yeah, it was good. It should be brought back, in my opinion. It does go hand in hand. Listen, there's rumors. Obviously, we spoke about this as well before everybody else, but there was even rumors about them bringing back Christmas specials. Now that hasn't been 100% confirmed yet, but again, that is going to be confirmed. There's going to be Christmas specials. Again, RTD is doing all the things that he did. Like Christmas specials are a huge part of his era, and obviously Moffat continued that tradition. So there will be Christmas specials as well, and Christmas is coming back. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't even need to receive the information for that. It's just a given. Some of these things are just going to be a given, because I think he is trying, as I said, he wants the show to be new and fresh, but at the same time as well, he wants to try, by the sounds of things, give fans, some familiarity as well, and Christmas specials and Doctor Who Confidential literally come hand in hand. So it's going to be interesting, because obviously, the fandom is in a bit of disarray at the moment again. So it'll be interesting what this announcement, see how this announcement on the 21st of April, how fans are going to actually react to that. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. PD Rich says, I'm fine with it as long as it doesn't turn into RTD's soapbox. CD says, we might get BBC One Christmas idents too, like those David Tennant's ones. The Warped Eyebrow says, is there an article or a tweet that I've missed which suggests some kind of Blue Peter reveal? Yeah, there was. Hold on, I'll get it up now. I'll get it up now. Just bear with me. Well, that's if I'm not blocked. I mean, people are starting to block me again for some weird reason. I'm not even saying that. And like, some people are just a bit weird. Right. So, just hold on. Bear with me. Right. I'm not blocked. Yay. Don't believe in time. Right. Let me see. It's down further. Here it is. There's actually a screenshot as well. So it's from a magazine. Can't tell. It's probably one of those. So I'll throw up the screenshot. So this is what everybody is basing it on. So listen, this is not mine. This is shared by Doctor Who Production News. So you can make of it as you will. But I'm going to be honest. You know me. I call bullshit out straight away. And this looks legit, like a legit screenshot of an article of a magazine. And you could see it. You could see it's not. So it's the listings for Friday, the 21st of April. And it says Blue Peter, 5 p.m. There are a host of there are lots of treats in store in today's program, including Jamie Oliver and an exciting announcement about Doctor Who. And they do have David Tennant there because obviously he is doing Have I Got News for You at 9 o'clock, and I've checked it out. It is legit, that date for Have I Got News for You. So I say on this one, there's definitely an announcement happening on BBC, on Blue Peter. So we will go live 15 minutes before. The thing about it is, though, I don't know if the Doctor Who announcement will be straight away. So what I'll do is I don't even know why I'm waiting. I don't even know why I'm going live at 5 anyway, because I don't think the announcement will be straight away. And on top of that, actually, sure, I've got the Sky Q box. So, I mean, I can bleed and record it and watch it then if I miss it. I mean, but I will put the BBC on and watch live. I don't see, this is the thing, I don't watch BBC anymore. You know what I mean? It's very rare that I watch BBC now. The only time that I watch BBC is if there's an FA Cup match on, and that's got to do with football for some people. So that's the only time I'll watch the BBC. And maybe sometimes Match of the Day, but I haven't watched Match of the Day much this season because I've watched a lot of the games live. And, of course, Gary Lineker is a bit of a... Yeah. Scottish Davros with a great point here, though. Says, Confidential should never have been axed as it was built a relationship between fans and creatives. Yes, but you can understand why it was not done for the last era, because we would have seen the disaster that it was behind the scenes, and they wouldn't have wanted us to see that. So Chris Chibnall, in fairness to him, was actually very clever there. He got rid of the one show that could actually expose the absolute ridiculousness of what was going on behind the scenes. So, yeah, Daniel, you make a great point, but it was, I'm telling you now, it was axed because Chibs knew he was out over his head, man. No matter what anybody says. CD has said that I have the magazine here. It's legit. So there you go. So 24th of April, folks, Doctor Who announcement on Blue Peter from 5 p.m. onwards, TARDIS time with hashtag Noel was right again. Thank you. I did actually put that hashtag in the when I did the stream, because I was right again, and I'm sick and tired of people using that so-called hashtag when they're never right. But I was right. I'm taking it as my own now because I'm always right. And that's because I had some good sources. And even though, as I said, you know, the relationship with the people that I was getting the information off ran a bit sour, credit where credit is due. You know me. You know, I'll give the credit where credit is due. Yes, I reported on this, but remember, I had sources, right, that were giving me, which looks like legit information. So we have to give those people credit, even though, as I said, our relationship has soured a little bit because, you know, things like that just happen, unfortunately. But, you know, again, these people that were giving me the stuff have delivered again. So again, yes, I might have put it out there, folks, but they're the people. The sources are the ones that should be given the praise, in fairness, because they've gotten everything spot on. And as I said, you know, we've gotten some information months ago, even a year ago, right, in some cases, and people expected it to come through straight away. And what have I always told you on this channel anyway, right? It's not always straight away. It could take a couple of months, could take a couple of weeks, or it could take until the next year. But the information most of the time that we've put out has been spot on. I mean, I don't think there's any other YouTuber out there, I'm not messing, right, in the Doctor Who fandom that has the hit rate that I have on rumours and speculated. That's source information that we got. It's a fact. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, okay. That's fine, yeah, because I'm streaming. Thank you, love. We got Lindsay in the chat. Good afternoon, all. Hey, Lindsay, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well, love. Cheryl says hello. Lindsay.
Yes, hi, Lindsay.
TARDIS Time says anything will be better than the fan show. Well, in fairness, right, look. I've had run-ins with Crystal D, right, as you all know. Listen, that Doctor Who fan show, when it first started, wasn't actually bad. It was good. It was. I'm not going to lie. The problem is that these fan shows, you know, BBC then decided that these people were good enough to represent the whole fandom. And then, of course, when the particular casting happened and Chris Chibnall came on board, they then turned against essentially the people that made them. But I'm not going to look. Some people will find that show cringy and all of that. To me, it showed they look at. There's no denying that these people at one time loved Doctor Who. Right? They did. It's a fact because they wouldn't have created all that, went through all of that effort if they didn't like. Of course they did. Right? The problem is they got too big-headed. They were given too much power, and then as soon as the fandom had anything critical to say, it all turned to crap. Simple as that. And that's it. And now they leave it till the end, as they always do that way, says Scottish Stavros. I thought it was Axton or Moffat. Doctor Who Confidential? No, I think didn't he keep it going for a cut? I don't think he kept it going. You're probably right. I think it was just probably. No, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure I watched Doctor Who Confidential under Stephen Moffat. But I could be wrong about that one. I'm not always right. Yeah, you were right and have been right a lot and not getting the credit for it. That's why I use that hashtag. Yeah, well, look, that's never going to happen. I have opinions. These people don't like us, So, I mean, they've tried to discredit me. They may have discredited me with most of the fandom, but we've got a community here that we've built up. And you guys have been here. Some of you have been here from day one. So yous know if I was lying to yous about any of this stuff, yous would call me out. Because unlike other channels out there that have supporters where the YouTubers are literally lying to them, right? They're staying silent and won't call him out. He's a nice guy. Whereas if I did something like that, I know you guys in the chat would call me out. No, that's bullshit. You didn't say that. You would question me. Now, let's see. Thank you for that TARDIS time, by the way. I really do appreciate your support, and I appreciate all the people on Twitter as well that have actually been very nice to me again, because they know they've been following the channel, have said, well done, Noel. But again, I will say, the people that came to me to give me that information gave me the opportunity to share it with you guys. And, they mustn't be forgotten. Because, without them, I wouldn't have got the information and been able to put it out there. So, yeah, again, we'll see what happens, won't we? Anyway, I think David Tennant is pretty much confirmed, but we'll wait for the official confirmation before I take out the cigar and pop out the champagne again. And by the way, I'm only joking. I don't have cigars or champagne, but just in case the other side have a bit of a fit because I said that, it's a joke. It does annoy me that other so-called YouTubers take your information without crediting you. It's just not right. Well, they've been doing that for years, and then when I called them out, then somehow they twisted that. You know, it's funny, mate. It's funny. I actually agree. PD wasn't a fan of Crystal D. I'll just throw his comment up there. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, she came, as I said, she came across as very arrogant. And some of the things that she said about Classic Who were very flippant, in my opinion. And I called her out, and she didn't like it. And then she retweeted me and sent a mob my way. And then, apparently, according to her supporters, she owned me. She never owned me because she ended up blocking me straight away. Same with a lot of other people. You know, the difference between me and other YouTubers out there is I wasn't afraid to open my mouth to any of these people. Right? I don't care if I got blocked by these people. The bottom line is the show was crap. Right? And a lot of people were sitting on the fence and wouldn't open their mouth. Or a lot of people ran away. Right? Because in fairness, it's come to light that not only was I trying to be bullied offline, a lot of other content creators out there were getting stuff aimed at them. Their family was getting stuff aimed at them, right? So in some aspects, I can understand to a certain extent why some of these never came back. But I don't know, maybe I'm just built differently. My mentality was, well, you stay in the front lines, and if you really love the show the way I do, well, then you're going to fight for it. You're going to call out all of the things that are wrong, even if it makes you enemy number one with a lot of people out there. You stay true to yourself. A lot of people ask me advice, right? If they're going to set up a YouTube channel. The best advice I can give you is just be yourself, right? If you're truthful to yourself, right, and you give honest and you're truthful with your opinions, people will come and seek your channel out. Trust me. People would rather, there is a lot of dishonesty on YouTube, right? And a lot of the bigger channels have built their YouTube channels off dishonesty. Even the ones that have attacked me have built their channels off dishonesty. It's just some people grift, some people like me just come on, give her opinion, give you guys an opinion. It's not about agendas here. I just speak from the heart. It's as simple as that. Chat just skipped there. Lindsay is saying, I hope everybody had a good Easter. It was quiet. PD, the BBC asked it to save money. Yeah, it was cut down. Yeah. So it was still kind of the same thing, but it was Doctor Who Extra. You're right. My apologies for saying that it was continued under Moffat. I think it was to a certain extent, but then it was cut down. Yes. So there you go. It's nice to be corrected. Before I discovered all of the critical channels, yourself, Neurotic, Ballstrex, and a few others, I've enjoyed watching the fan show, if I'm being honest. Exactly. The fan show, look at, just because I had personal issues with the woman and she didn't like me and she did try turn a mob on me, at the end of the day, there's no denying that there was a place for the Doctor Who fan show. And people are still talking about the last one I thought I remembered was with River Song. I agree about the fan show, what you said earlier. Exactly. You know, we might have our personal issues, but at the end of the day, it had a place in the Doctor Who fandom. We got on comics in the chat. Nice to see you, pal. Nice to see you. And I will listen. I've been gearing up to it, but I will be doing those Noel Clarke videos that I said I was going to be doing. I haven't forgotten about them. It's just other stuff has gotten in the way over the last few weeks, just in case people have forgotten or probably thought that I've stopped me interest in all of this. No, I haven't. I've just been very busy with other stuff, and on top of that as well, I've been doing streams where I haven't been actually well either, where I should have been taking a bit of a rest. But there you go. Crystal D ran with the time ladies when the show was still failing. Yeah, well, this is the thing though. I will say this: if you're gonna bring back a Doctor Who type fan show now, it has to be different people on board. The people that were involved in that were very toxic, and we won't even get into the time ladies, but there's one particular time lady who over the years is just an attention seeking, victim playing person. And then the very people that she's slagging off, then she goes and asks them for money, or did. I don't know now if they still ask for money to help with their content. I think the time ladies are done now, as far as I know, because I don't pay attention anymore. But yeah, that one was always crying about something. Remember, she was the one that was asking how many female writers were working for Big Finish, and she had to end up taking down that tweet. And then I actually even questioned, well, what, why does it matter? If Big Finish is writing good stories, why does it matter how many women is writing for Big Finish? Shouldn't it be just about putting out good stories and not caring about all of that other rubbish? Again, they had different priorities to the rest of the fandom. All we wanted was a well-written show with great characters. All they wanted was representation. Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day for most of the fans on the other side. Representation. That's it. You don't care about Doctor Who. You can have all the representation in it all you want. The problem is if the writing is crap, which it has been over the last few years, well, then you're going to have people complain. And also, it was a terrible place. I am a lot better off it. So thank you to the writer. You still bullied a young person who suffered from mental health for years. You hypocrite. Rant over. I don't know who that's aimed at. I know it's not aimed at me. But a lot of people were bullied. Oh, you're talking about the same person I'm talking about. She sent her goons on me when I questioned why did she need to start fundraising when all she does is hate the hate of men. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It was actually funny. And I remember they put up the wrong link at first and then she had to put up a second link. Scottish Davros has asked me, is Noel Clarke okay? Well, actually, he texted me just a few days back to see if I was okay because people have noticed that I've been a little bit quiet, more quiet than usual. It's just that I've just been a bit under the weather, just with my stomach and stuff like that. So yeah, Noel wanted to check up on me as well. And I actually need to get out a little bit more and get a bit of air and stuff like that. I've just been feeling very drained lately. But last couple of days now, I've been feeling a lot better. Luke Spillane wasn't too bad, even though I thought his counterpart in the early days was far, far better than he was. And as I said, Scottish Davros was asking there if Noel was okay. I think Noel is just kind of thinking about what's happened to him over the last months, you know. TARDIS Time says he's doing better. Missed my first comment. No, I read it out. I just didn't know who it was aimed at, and then I seen the second comment, and then I realised you were talking about one of the Time ladies. So yeah, I got it. I'm still going to keep positive about the new series. Yeah, as I said, I'm still going to watch it because the only way I can find out whether it's good or bad is if I watch it. And I'm not going to change on that. But I cannot ignore the fact that that some of the decisions that RTD has made recently has stored the fandom, and it just goes to show you that it's been a kind of a fragile goodwill that has been built up after the last few months. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. As I said, I will watch. 100% agree. It needs to be a mix of classic and new fans to host the show. I'd agree with that. The only problem you're going to have is that BBC will get in classic Doctor Who fans, but they'll make sure that they're classic Doctor Who fans that are online, that are in line with whatever agenda, if there is going to be an agenda. That's the problem I have. Like, they wouldn't have the likes of me or Gobby Guy or Dan from the Space Book on the fan show talking about it, because if we didn't like anything about it, we'd be honest. Whereas I think if they got people that they knew were agreeable with the direction the era is going in, they're not going to be critical, are they? So I don't know. Never say anything about you, no, mate. You have been mother, but nice to me over the past 5 years, and I thank you for that. I really appreciate that. TARDIS Time. It is no, but they don't realize how fragile it is. Yeah. It'll be all the Phantom crew and Nick Briggs. Well, I mean, we can't go through the same cycle that we went through the last few years under the Chibs era. So I'm going to actually send a message out to the people that are in charge of Doctor Who now. We cannot have a situation where creatives or writers or actors or actresses come out and attack the fandom for having legitimate criticisms. Now, I'm all in favor of calling out absolute bigoted behavior, but again, you've got to separate, because everything is just labeled as bigoted now, where it's not. There is a difference between critical opinion and being an absolute tool. Okay? So I think the media as well have a part to play. And again, we've already seen the media and the critics over the Super Mario movie. So we already know that the media and critics are not going to change anytime soon. But we're hoping that you listen, right? I am sick and tired. I even had this argument, some woman with a check mark was given out about nerds giving out about the Marvels. Now, the Marvels trailer has been actually criticised, as far as I have seen, by almost everybody. So it doesn't seem to be, it seems to be these die-hard feminists that are defending the trailer. But one of them start giving out about the fact that nerds and all of this were going to be crying and all of this. And I said, well, these very same nerds, the ones that you're slagging, your customers, are the ones that made these characters famous in the first place by buying the comic books. Yeah? She blocked me. She blocked me. So here's the thing, right? I'm going to say to Bad Wolf Studios, BBC, Radio Times, all of you people that played you as part of the media, you know who you are. You cannot use the same tactics against the fandom at this time. Now, if you haven't learned lessons from the last time, right, what's going to happen is that as soon as there's criticism from the media when the show does come out, if there's any criticism, we're not saying there will be, but there might be. If you media then take the stance that it's racist or bigoted or whatever, right, instead of actually looking at the genuine concerns that fans actually have and the genuine criticisms, well, then we're back to square one. And what's going to happen is that the rest of the fandom, like myself, that have stuck around, will just walk away. And good luck with you. And I know that there'll be some people on the other side that'll be saying, oh, it'll be great when the Tartar's on and the rest of the bigots go, right? Because that's what they view us as. Okay, that's fine, fair enough, we'll go, right? But you already seen what happened when people walked away from the Jodie Whittaker era, including the British public. So you add us on top of that. You think Doctor Who is going to survive? Yes, they might drag it along on Disney Plus because they'll pump as much money like they're doing with Star Wars now. They're literally bleeding it dry at this stage, right? But Star Wars is struggling big time to get audiences interested. You're going to tell me that Doctor Who will be able to survive without fans like us? Absolutely not, it won't. Absolutely not, it won't. Right? The British public have already lost interest. Right? And just because it's on Disney Plus, by the way, yes, it'll be seen in over 60 countries if those countries obviously want to show it, because obviously Disney app in different countries, you know, they would choose what content is shown in their country because, you know, some mightn't agree with Disney's policies and their ideology in some of their movies. So certain countries do ban certain shows and certain movies being shown on Disney Plus platform in different countries. So there's no guarantee for success here, by the way. Right? It might be open to a much larger audience, but if this is not any way good, right? If this is more of the same, right? And then you have the media and then the creators coming out and attacking fans, well, it's game over. It's probably already game over. But we'll see. Let me see. I might still watch the 60th, says Daniel, as a casual viewer. Drawn Jack Rabbit, despite the 5 years being the worst time ever to be a fan, I'm so glad I met you, Noel, and everyone, says Jordan Jack Rabbit. You too, mate. You're a little star. And can't wait to see what you do on your YouTube channel. And that reminds me, Jordan Jack Rabbit, he's in the chat now. So if you can pop your new YouTube channel in the chat there, mate, we'll try get those subs up and we can all subscribe because I can't find you either. So you'll have to throw it in the chat there. So if you can do that, that'd be absolutely great. Right, let's see. We still got comments. We've got 19 people watching at the moment. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We are on Twitter. We are live on Twitter. We're live on Facebook. And we are live on YouTube. really sorry, have to go. We'll catch up with this later. Thanks, Noel, for everything you do for us, says Lindsay. Lindsay, look after yourself and thank you. I do really appreciate all of that, guys. As I said, we're in this together. As I said, I know I wouldn't be able to do what I do if I hadn't got the support of all of you. So thank you very much. It really means a lot to me. And take care, Lindsay. Someone asking me what new recipe should I try barbecue next. I mean, you can almost barbecue any meat, to be quite honest with you. I have been throwing up me little dinners that I've been making. By the way, if anybody wants any recipes or the ingredients for some of the stuff I put up, just let me know on Twitter and I'll throw them up. I never view Russell, Nick Briggs, Mark Gattis, Stephen Moffat the same way as I did as a kid, especially Russell and Nick. I loved them as a kid. Now I see them for what they are, says Jordan Jack Rabbit. Yeah, I mean, look, just let's hope. Look, I know people will say, no, you're still being optimistic, man. Even after all that's gone on, you're still optimistic, right? Look, we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. But I would urge people connected to the show, remember the people that you may not like the criticism. You may think it's unjust in some cases, but you must remember one vital thing. Whether you agree with them or not, these people are your customers. And if you want Doctor Who to succeed, and this goes for the whole of the industry, whether it's Hollywood or wherever you are in the world, it goes for all the industry. You need to stop criticizing your customers. You need to start listening to your customers. You need to understand why your customers have grievances, and you need to be able to handle those grievances in a more pragmatic manner. And I would say to the media too, you also have a role to play. Because during the Whittaker era, the role that you guys played was to put a target on classic fans and fans that weren't on board with the Chris Chibnall era. You did several articles that were absolutely disgusting, accusing fans of sexism, bigotry, and all of this other nonsense. And after you printed those articles, you had the radicals on social media that were on board with that era, then going and attacking women, men, Classic Who fans that joined during the 2005 era, any fan that wasn't on board with this era. You also have a responsibility to distinguish between genuine criticism and actual bigotry, hatred, and all of that other stuff. That's your job as journalists, right? Now, a lot of you aren't journalists, a lot of you are activists and have become journalists because you want to spread your activism. But your job as a journalist is to remain neutral. So, basically, get your act together, do things the right way, and, this era of RTDs could be the most successful of Doctor Who, right? But it could also be a mixed bag, or it could be absolute crap. Now, if it's mixed bag or absolute crap, there's no point he's throwing his toys out of the pram again. Now, if it's good and it's brilliant and it's everything that we hope it'll be, well, then all the fears and all the other stuff that's gone on in the fandom will go away. People will enjoy the show again. But you all have a responsibility. The creators, the actors and actresses that are going to appear in this show, and the media, if there's any constructive criticism, you got to distinguish between that and actual hatred that goes on out there. You cannot put targets on fans' backs again. It's not the way we do things. And to all of those writers that have Doctor Who writers out there and Big Finish that have blocked fans in this fandom because some didn't like the Timeless Children, shame on you. You know what I mean? Still to this day, you have those fans blocked. It's absolutely pathetic in my opinion. You need to get over yourselves. The fact of the matter is the Timeless Children, the Timeless Child, whatever, was an abomination, right? He didn't even actually tie up the story. So again, at the time, we were all right. We said this was going to go nowhere, and we were absolutely right. Just like we were right about Tasman. Tasman was never going to happen. He baited us. Yeah, now yous are angry at him. But yous are 5 years too late, folks. Yous are 5 years too late. Anyway, I don't know what's going on in this house behind me back, but there's loads of movement going on. It's like weird. I'm here trying.
I wouldn't leave you without me telling him it was okay to take his treat.
All right. See, I don't know what's going on here. I'm streaming and there's stuff going on. The weather is bad and it's great. Yeah. Well, we all gave Series 11, 12 and Flux a chance. That's the thing. Every year we said we weren't going to watch and we ended up watching it. And then when we had a little bit of optimism, it was quickly dashed by the second or third episode. Chibs would start off strong and then he'd have a weak ending. It's like if Chibs walked into a room and he saw the hottest girl, he just wouldn't be able to. He's limp, basically. That's what his era was, limp. Of course he was worse than Moffat. Who was worse than Moffat? RTD or Chibs? Because I don't think RTD was. Blasphemous! No, you won't take it. I'm in the middle of a stream there, woman.
Did you want me to give it to you or not?
Yeah, but I'm in the middle of it.
I'm going to ask you to be kind and sweet.
Okay,
you're kind and sweet.
Okay, bye. I'll go in there now and lock you in your cage.
No, do nothing. Nothing. Don't make me slam this freaking door. I don't want to yell anymore.
That really did happen, folks. You heard Cheryl attempting to sing. Her singing was so bad that the crows that were flying out my window there actually they turned trajectory real quick and they flew in the opposite direction. Chibs, thanks be to God. I kind of knew you were talking about Chibs. There's no way you were talking about RTD. Series 15 should be a course correction if Series 14 fails. We'll see. Tones of the lovely wife, says on comics. More like tones of a black crow. Will Cartoons, home of Siobhan, good Irish name. I don't care if it's diverse or woke or whatever. If it's good Doctor Who, then that's all I care about. I just want great stories. Daniel says, frying pan incoming. No frying pan incoming anymore. I'm the boss. The Warped Eyebrow too says, we're just scrolling through Instagram. What's just scrolling through Instagram? They see some post about Millie Bobby Brown has just got engaged at 19. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't read it, so I don't know what all the big fallor is about. So obviously, we will well, I don't think that's newsworthy on Friday Night Contact, to be quite honest. Whatever she does in her own private life is her own business. See, I think this is where we kind of gone too far. Who cares if she's engaged? What is the issue actually? Can someone just tell me in the chat? Apparently, what is the issue? Because I did see she was trending, and I did see one or two of the big streamers comment about her being engaged and saying shock horror because people were reacting. I did see one comment where someone was saying that the rainbow facets were going mad because apparently they thought she might have been a lesbian or something. And apparently she's engaged to a bloke, so that hasn't gone down too well. Because, because they expect that character to be that way, then they expect the real life actress then to be, like, she's not going to pretend to be a lesbian just for you guys, She's going to be true to herself, which most of you haven't been. Well, getting engaged at 19, well, in fairness, Charlie Chaplin, Elvis Presley, their future wives were all underage, by the way. Hasn't Leonardo DiCaprio been engaged to a couple of 19-year-olds? I mean, again, you know what I mean? Look, again, I don't think age matters. If Millie Bobby Brown has found someone at 19 years of age who she's in love with, right? Now, people will say, well, she's 19. How does she know she's in love? Well, we don't know, man. We don't know the relationship. We don't know the dynamic of it. So, at the end of the day, she's decided at 19 years of age that she wants to get engaged to a bloke and marry him in the future. It's none of her business. It's none of her business, you know what I mean? So I don't really, fair play to her. Congratulations. What do you think of Star Trek Picard Season 3? Absolutely brilliant, and anybody that's slagging it is just slagging it for the sake of it because it's actually stylish to continue to shout at everything, apparently. But I think a lot of people are getting sick and tired of that now and want their YouTubers to be actually honest with them and to give an unbiased review. I think a few YouTubers out there can't help themselves. Yeah, I get it. You don't like Discovery. You didn't like what they did with season 1 and 2 of Picard. Fair enough. But if season 3 is legitimately good and the writing is actually good, why not actually come out and praise it? But no, there's a few naysayers out there. And I've noticed as well, they're not even coming up with credible arguments anymore. They're nitpicking. They're literally nitpicking. Like little details. That's how bad it's gone. Right? So I ignore the naysayers. I've enjoyed it. I think it's some of the best Trek we've had in years. I can't wait to see the finale. It's even been that successful that it's actually the finale is going to be shown in some IMAX cinemas. So there you go. Just goes to show you that if you write something and you show the fans that you care about the stuff that you're writing, people will go and watch it, just like they did with the Super Mario movie. And again, that's the message I would send out to RTD. You look, there's BBC put out an article in their culture section where they said the Super Mario Bros. Movie was lazy because it pandered the fans. Right? Now, you look at the success that's went on to have, right? And this is all that's wrong with BBC. And hopefully this is not RTD's way of thinking. But if it is, it's screwed. Because yes, I'm not saying you should exclusively pander to fans, but you should have fans in mind when you're writing Doctor Who. If you want the show to be successful, you need the fans on board as well as the casual viewer. You really do. And I think BBC have forgotten that over the years. So you do need to pander the fans. I'm sorry, you do. As I said, it doesn't have to be always exclusively, but you have to have the fans in mind. Come on. And if you notice, Maverick, right? Fans love Top Gun. We heard Maverick was coming out. The trailer was released and everybody was hyped for it. Maverick made a killing. Ghostbusters Afterlife made a killing. Right? All of these things that I'm mentioning have one thing in common. Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Right? All of these things have, and by the way, the Barbie movie, right? I know there's a few people out there slagging this Barbie movie off, saying it's absolutely ridiculous and all this. And to be honest, I had a bit of a laugh at it myself with the trailer. But let's not forget, this movie is not aimed at us, right? Okay? But this movie is gonna make a shit ton of money. There's no doubt about that. Barbie has a fan base, and it is going to kill in the box office. It's going to do very well in the box office, right? Because I think Hollywood, in a way, yes, they're still slow to react, but you can see with certain projects, right? You know, especially ones that are unique, maybe gaming franchises or stuff that, you know, the hardcore fan would know about, are making a killing. And I think Hollywood is starting to see this. But again, they're always too slow and they'll always still try out their crap. I wish they'd just abandon that model altogether and just start making stuff that's going to make the money. They're talking about Hollywood like being under stress financially and all of this. Yeah, you're under stress financially because you're making crap all the time. But examples like the Super Mario Bros. Movie, the Sonic the Hedgehog, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Maverick, right? Even the first Joker movie, right? We don't know what the second part will be like. It's got Lady Gaga in there. We'll have to wait and see. Everybody's jumped the gun on that as well. Like, I didn't think it needed a sequel. It was a standalone movie as far as I was concerned, but it is getting a sequel. But I'm not going to judge it based off a few photographs I've seen. I will watch the movie and see if it's any good. But again, when you do things for fans, and this is where I think James Gunn's going to shoot himself in the foot, everybody has told him they want Henry as Superman. Yes, you can still do your stupid Superman legacy movie, but why not give Henry a second bleeding Superman movie? You can have it in Elseworlds or wherever this rubbish you're talking about to separate all the different movies because you're trying to justify your own timeline. Yeah, great. Yeah. I mean, she just showed everything that's wrong with today's media. Grace Grace Randolph's review of Super Mario Brothers is actually comedy gold. Even though she's not trying to be funny in her review, it's the funniest. I'm going to be honest, right? And most of the blokes in the chat will agree with me when I say this. Yeah, it is nice sometimes to have a hot looking woman by your side, but if there's nothing between those eyeballs, then you need some. But see, women out there think all we're interested in is perfect looking and stuff like that. It's not just about looks. You have to have something in between that sawdust of a brain of yours, some sort of intelligence. And I can't believe that Grace actually has a fella, because if that's her thinking all the time, how can any bloke think that she's intelligent? I mean, a review is one of the worst reviews I've ever seen for any movie, period, to be quite honest with you. It's absolutely laughable, right? And then when she gets criticised for it, then she tries to turn the table and say, well, I'm not really giving out to people that really enjoy the movie, but literally, you're basically saying that anybody that watches this is anti-Me Too and all of this sort of rubbish that you came up with, and then you were wondering why Super Mario was dressed as a furry, because you didn't go and actually do the research that you should have done in the first place, because you're a grifter. But the movie has exposed the media yet again, and I'm going to tell you now, critics have lost all credibility. I've been saying this for years. You all need to finally start listening. Critics have lost credibility, right? When you see the critics give a movie a low rating on Rotten Tomatoes and all of these other sites, and then you see the audience score is up high, then you believe the audience. The audience is always a judge, by the way, folks, not the critics, right? The audience decides what movies are a success and what aren't a success. So if you see an audience score that's bigger than a critic score, trust me, that movie is great. Now, if you see a movie that has a higher critical rating and a low audience score, well, most of the time, the majority of the time, those movies are crap. That's your judge. You judge it off the audience score from now on. You don't judge it off critics. Critics have lost all credibility altogether. Seriously, they've lost credibility, and they've always lost credit. They've lost credibility a long, long time ago. People should stop listening to critics. People should stop listening to these YouTube grifters as well that are telling you these things are bad. Best thing to do is, folks, listen, I'll say this, right? There's some people out there that are probably listening right now that hate Picard season 1 and 2, right? But you are listening to those YouTubers that are telling you, no, it's Kurtzman. Kurtzman's evil. You can't watch season 3. If you watch season 3, you're a traitor, right? Seriously, man, don't listen to them. Go and watch it. Make up your own mind. Because trust me, I know for a fact once you watch that show, right, you're going to love it. You're going to love it, right? People that are giving out about Picard are nitpicking, right? PD Rich is there. He's a diehard Star Trek fan, right? He knows everything there is to know about Star Trek. Now, I told him about Strange New Worlds. He's still not sold on Strange New Worlds, right? But I told him about season 3 of Picard. I told him it was some of the best Trek. And he went and watched it for himself. And he can't believe how good it is himself. Right? You got Robert Moira Burnett out there. Right? Big in the Trek universe. Right? In the fandom as well. Right? He's even come out and said it's good. Right? Dave Cullen, another critic that everybody used to listen to. He's come out and said it's good. But some prick in a mask tells everybody that, you better not watch because Kurtzman and all of this starts dictating to the fandom. He's telling everybody that it's bad, right? And everybody is listening to him. The same person that was lying to you about Star Wars, Doctor Who, and wherever other rumor crap that he puts out on his channel, not one bit is legit. Then his little minions go, oh, he was right. He was right. No, he wasn't right. He was wrong. Wrong about everything. Wrong. Kathleen Kennedy's still in power. Now we're getting 3 more movies. But she's supposed to be gone 7 years. What, 7, 8 years ago? Tell you, that is the longest sacking or the longest step down that I've ever seen. It's literally taken her 8 years. Well, it's going to probably take her about 15 years after this next trilogy for her to finally get out the door. And then, of course, he'll still be around and he'll say, oh, I was right. Well, Nostradamus was right after about, is going to be right after a few fucking centuries. So go and watch these things for yourself as well. It's important to do that. I'm not saying you can go and watch a YouTuber that you like, and you can listen to them be critical or be positive about a TV show or a movie that you're thinking of watching. But at the end of the day, right, the best judge of anything out there, right, or to judge at is yourself. Is always yourself, right? These people now, you could tell they're naysayers, right? They just don't like Kurtzman so bad that it doesn't matter what comes out of that now, right? Unless Alex Kurtzman is gone, and I guarantee if Alex Kurtzman and the people that they have a problem with are gone, all of a sudden they will say that Picard was brilliant. But they're stubborn because they don't like the showrunners that, in their eyes, ruined the Star Trek universe. But yeah, there are some within it that are actually producing some great shows. But yet, you're not going to give those people a chance because your hatred over certain people that created shows that you don't like is more paramount than actually giving an honest review of a TV show that has actually improved. They're adding to the sequel trilogy. It's going to come, didn't she say, 5 or 15 years after? So 5 years after, I think it was. No, so it's gonna basically double down on everything. Right, let's see. Some of you have made some comments on the critics, so let's throw these up on screen as well because we're on Twitter as well. So I want the critics to see this, the ones that have been the naysayers. Picard going into the theaters, nice. It looks like the Legacy series will happen, says Bobby D75. Some people are talking about relationships in there. We kind of moved past that, but yeah, get some of you at points there, folks. Yeah, Grace is just comedy gold. She's the gift that keeps giving. Just like Brianna Rue and the other one can't help themselves. The 99 Doctor says Star Trek Picard Season 3 and Strange New Worlds are some of the best Trek in years. I agree. I have a soft spot for Strange New Worlds. I know for a fact the second season is going to be better though. The fourth season they were finding their feet, but they got a lot. Absolute. There was some beautiful scenes and great episodes in that fourth season. But yeah, I mean, she didn't even. I know. I mean, if you played the games, if you watched the animation cartoons that they used to have, you'd know all of this. But she didn't. Because these critics, so-called critics, don't actually even do basic research. See, a lot of these critics, right? Here's my advice to Grace and all it is, right? You want to fool people into becoming into believing that you're actually a great critic. Well, my suggestion is that the information, the product or the film or the TV show that you're going to talk about, I would suggest that you actually go and do some background research before you actually do your review video. That way, even if you don't know what you're actually talking about, it will look like on screen that you do know what you're talking about, and you won't come across as a complete and absolute waste of a journalist or a critic. So get with the program. I agree with you. The 2000s were the same. We went through a rough period in the 2000s where they were actually praising some movies that were absolute rubbish and basically panning the movies that were actually better, were great. It's happened before. The critics do go through this type of phase, but they normally correct themselves. But today's critic, though, you will always see, if you go in and check the bio, that they're an activist, right? They're all activists, and they all proudly confess that they're activists. So when they go in and they're reviewing, like the Super Mario, like Grace did, she went in with her view already skewed because of her ideology. Whereas if she wants to be a true critic, she must leave that at the door and review the movie at face value. But she didn't, and she didn't even do the necessary research. Because if she thought that Super Mario was dressed like a furry, all she had to do was do a simple Google, why is Super Mario dressed as a furry? And I bet you it'd actually even come up the right answer for her. So basic research. But they don't. Their opinions are skewed anyway. This is why they've lost the credit. Their opinions have been skewed for a long, long time. Absolutely. When I'm watching it, I feel like I'm part of that world. And Robert Meyer Burnett took me off and confirmed it for me. Yeah, I know you have to listen to a few people before you make up your mind, and that's fair. Shouldn't just take my word for it. You should always go and see if there's any other people that watch this that actually like it. I agree with you, but I'm glad you're enjoying the PD, because it is. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Daniel unsubbed him a long time ago. So did I, but he's still following me. But after today, hopefully he's not. Will Cartoons. Mask Dude's source come from his imagination, because he is never right. Randolph, she needs to make that Disney money. Yeah, she's a shill for Disney, all right. Yeah. Maybe that's why she actually, because she called this Illumination's worst movie. It's the most successful movie. Like, sit down. On Comics has even said it as well. He says Strange New Worlds and Picard 3 are fab. I agree. But again, this is what happens when you do listen. Someone obviously did listen within that organization, and that's why Terry was brought on board. And he has absolutely produced. Now, it'll be a travesty, though, and I will say this, it'll be a travesty if he isn't lined up within that Star Trek universe to do something else. Because he should most definitely be given something else to do in it. Whether it's a spin-off show of Picard Season 3 or whatever they do, he needs to be part of that. He is a fantastic writer. He has engaged with fans. Now, so he has blocked some, but again, if you're going to have people nitpicking at the stuff that you're doing, do you really blame him, to be quite honest? He has been very engaging and acted with fans, but he's not going to tolerate nonsense, and he is right to do so. But this man should be given another crack at the whip with something else, absolutely, because I've really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to Strange New Worlds second season, and we'll see how that goes. But if Picard is an indication that they're maybe starting to realize that they need to kind of course correct, then I'm all on board. And I think, as I said, Picard has already kind of shown that. Strange New Worlds has shown that. There's other shows that I watch as well, like Prodigy, which I actually think is good as a cartoon. It's better than Lower Decks, I'm going to be honest with you, and it's aimed at kids, but it's more intelligent than Lower Decks. That's the funny thing about it. So they are, it seems like they are, but only time will tell, because Kurtzman still has his projects to do, and there is other stuff coming out. So only time will tell, but, you know, this could be a very exciting time for Star Trek fans now. And I think we're long overdue, because as a doctor, I'm also a Trekkie more than I am. As I said, I'm not a Star Wars fan. I've never classed myself as a Star Wars fan. I'm a Trekkie. I love the Trek movies. In fairness, I'll get criticised for this, but I actually think the Trek movies are better than the George Lucas trilogy. Sorry, but that's where I stand on it. I just lived in a household where my dad loved Star Wars and the movies were always on, but he was also a Star Trek fan. But I loved them movies over the George Lucas movie. Sorry. That's what I mean. Even non-fans knew, Daniel. Even non-fans knew, because Mario's such an iconic brand. I mean, anyway, I'll just say this about her anyway. Where do some of these female feminist critics come from? Because do they have their heads buried in the sand? Because they always seem, over the years, they have made such ridiculous statements and comments and reviews, get called out for it all the time, but seem to keep going. Like, I mean, what I just don't get it, man. Yeah, Prodigy's animation was great. I love that show. I even looked, the intro to that show was bleeding brilliant as well. Everybody says that Picard's intro is deadly and Strange New Worlds intro is deadly, and I agree. But Prodigy's intro is bleeding deadly. I love that intro. I love it. I love that. Listen, I am an adult. It's the cartoon is aimed a bit more at kids, but there is stuff there to keep the adults entertained. As a good review, actually, a reviewer who had his head screwed on actually said, look, it is mainly based for kids, but there is stuff in that to keep the adults interested in the show. And, you know, I found it very fascinating. And I love Janeway because, as you all know, I'm a Voyager fan. So, you know, in fairness, I always wanted her to get a live action. But if this is the way they decided to go with it, then I'm on board with it. But I would have... Look, I'm still hoping. And if anybody out there is listening that's in charge of Star Trek, which I doubt because I'm a small little channel, but if there is anybody out there that's listening that has anything to do with Star Trek in any way, that writes for it in any manner, I know he's done Prodigy with a hologram Janeway, but obviously, like, yeah, I was thinking, you know, because that is a hologram Janeway, maybe you could do a live action Voyager show, maybe a bit of a legacy show like Picard, and bring back the old Voyager crew for one last hurrah. Because, you know, I know they wrote books after the main show and stuff that kind of tells what happened after they came back from the Delta Quadrant. But I always thought that they missed something here. They could have really explored that for the last season, with them trying to adapt back on or wherever they were sent, the crew was sent, where they separated, you know, and how that would affect them. I know the books, they kind of covered stuff like that, but it would have been a nice dynamic to see a live action version of that, where they either adapt to their new duties or adapt to life at home. Remember, because B'Elanna and Tom had only had their baby, so them adjusting to mother and fatherhood would have been very interesting. Then 7 of 9, obviously, we have seen her in Picard, but it would have been nice to see her when she first went on Earth, how she would have adapted being on a planet full of different species and the human race back with our own, as they say. So there were so many little dynamics, so many little stories, so many little avenues that they could have went down with Voyager. And I just, Voyager is not perfect, and it does get a lot of stick, and a lot of Trek fans kind of dismiss it. But for me, it had some great stories within some of the absolute rubbish that they did put in, and there was a lot of filler. But even some of those filler episodes were very good because of the acting of the cast and stuff. So I did enjoy it. I have a soft spot for I wreck Cheryl's head because I watch it all the time. Like, I literally watch Voyager all the time. So yeah, it does seem to be on track. We'll have to see. I hope we get some Deep Space Nine shows soon. Voyager's issue was every 2 years they got under their showrunner. Yeah. I think the last few seasons though are the best few seasons of Voyager. There weren't many filler episodes. There still were the odd stinker in there, but overall, I think the last few seasons were actually pretty decent. And some of the best Star Trek that I enjoyed anyway. But yeah, I would have loved to see a live action. You never know. We'll see. I mean, people will probably say, "Oh, look, all they can do now is legacy shows and stuff like that." But it is something that I would personally want. I'm not saying the whole fandom would want it, but I would certainly not be opposed to a proper Voyager legacy show. Something. So yeah, that's where I stand on it anyway. But look, we've covered everything that we've needed to cover anyway. I am back later tonight, but we're starting a half an hour early because I have to finish early tonight. So instead of 7 o'clock tonight, we're starting at 6:30. We got PD there. Hopefully he'll be joining me for the chill zone. We'll see what the guys on the panel want to talk about. Charlotte hopefully will be here as well, and the rest of the panelists. But we'll be starting at 6:30. And I will be finishing at 7:30 tonight because I've got something coming up and I have to take care of that. So that's what we'll be doing tonight. And then on Thursday is membership stream. Remember, we moved the membership stream from Tuesday to Thursday, and it is the Friday Night Contact preview stream. Where I will be delving into some of the topics that we will be covering on Friday night with the two lads, Chris and Lee. And I will be giving you, because obviously on that stream, as you know, guys, I do be asking them the questions and getting their opinions on the stuff that we cover. So that's what we'll be doing. And I've got some topics already lined up for you as well to talk about. Some Super Mario and other stuff as well, including the Marvels and stuff. But look, we it's a mixed bag. We on this channel we try to do some positive news as well as some of the topics out there that have gotten people talking, and Miss Marvel has gotten a lot of people talking. So we will be covering that as well. So yeah. Well, if you're going to give Star Trek a go, you have to watch the original series first. I mean, you could go into it the Next Generation because it is a different crew. But I mean, if you're going to give that franchise a go, you would. I would, and I don't know if anybody in the chat agrees with me, Daniel. But we'll see when I make this comment. But I think you should start at the beginning and start with the original series. I remember the original series has had its special effects and all updated, and it's been cleaned up as well, so it looks a lot better than it did back in the day when I grew up watching it as a kid. It looks absolutely stunning, I have to say. So yeah, I would go with the original series, and then they have the animation series with the original crew if you want to watch that, and then of course you go into Next Generation and stuff like that, and then work your way through. But I think everybody would agree with me. You would have to start with the original series first, because the original crew, I suppose, without them, we wouldn't be sitting here talking today. So that's what I do. I go with the original series first, mate. I let people in the chat obviously tell you what they think while I tell you what's coming up on the channel properly. So on Mondays, we have New Who's On with myself, Charlotte, and PD Rich, and who are sometimes Real Super Doctor, but he missed the last one because he was busy. But that's our panel for Mondays. Then Tuesday, we didn't do it this Tuesday because I wanted to wait. There was no point to starting James Bond and then taking a break for a week and then doing Alien versus Predator. So next Tuesday, myself and Jack hopefully will be here for Alien versus Predator. That's on Tuesday at 7:45. That's the Movie Zone. We're bringing back the Movie Zone, folks. And then after the week after that, then we will be starting and kicking off our James Bond marathon. Wednesday is the Chill Zone with guests. Of course, as I said, it'll be 6:30 tonight, but the normal time for that will be at 7. And then on Thursdays is the preview stream of Friday Night Contact, which will be on Friday. But on Thursday, we have the preview where I give me opinions. That's a membership stream for all you members out there. And then at 5:45 every Friday, it's the TARDIS Zone Talks. Now, we might go a little bit early live Friday on the 21st. Obviously, when it gets closer to that date, we'll bring it up. But 5:45 with myself and Christian Basil from the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. And then on Friday nights, 9 o'clock, the stream that everybody seems to be liking, and we're starting to grow the audience on that. It's Friday Night Contact with myself, Lee, Chris, aka Cultivated Media Incorporated, who is back on YouTube, aka Bolstrek for anybody who doesn't recognize the name. So on Friday nights, it's myself, Chris, and Problem Being here every Friday, 9 o'clock, discussing those topics in Hollywood. And remember, the difference about this channel is that we do cover some positive stuff as well. It's not all negative. Okay, we do like to bring you some suggestions as well of stuff that we've watched, and we do cover when things go well in Hollywood and praise, because yes, we should criticize when they get it wrong, but when they get it right, we should also praise. Also, I am a firm believer in that. We must send a message to these creators. Look, this is where you've actually done right. So continue down this vein. And that's why it's important to praise stuff if it's genuinely good. And this is why I have such a strong opinion about season 3 of Picard, is because it is actually that good. And I'm just sick and tired of the naysayers just saying that they hate it just for the sake of saying that they hate it. But always go and watch these things for yourself, folks. Don't take my word for it. Don't take your man in the mask's word for it, or anybody else out there. The best judge of all of these things is you yourself. You go and check these out. You go and watch them. And if it's not your cup of tea, that's fair enough. But it's at least you've went and you've tried for yourself. You're not taking the word of someone out there that doesn't even show their identity, by the way. I just want to make that clear as well, by the way. Right? Don't take the word of these people. Go and watch it yourself. Okay? And with that, I will leave it there. I am back tonight at 7 o'clock 6 o'clock. It's 6:30 tonight for the chill zone. Be normally 7, but 6:30 tonight for the chill zone. So come and join me. Hopefully we'll have Queen Charlotte here. I'm pretty sure PD is going to be joining us for that as well. And it's a stream where for an hour, we're just going to talk about whatever topics the guys on the panel want to talk about, whatever they want to rant about, whatever they want to praise. It's just basically a couple of people on stream talking about absolute crap for an hour. So come and join us for that, you know, because it's nice to do something different where it's not just bogged down with Doctor Who. That's why we do Friday Night Contact as well, to kind of mix it up a bit. So don't forget to check me out on Twitter. It's at NoelZone. On YouTube at the TARDIS Zone official YouTube. Instagram at TARDIS Noel. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, if you haven't become a member, I would really appreciate it if you consider it. There are 2 tiers. Go in and check and see which one works best for you. And if you would like to become a member, you're more than welcome to join our little community that we have here, and you will gain access to that preview show on Thursdays where we talk about some of the topics that I will be getting the lads' opinions on Friday Night Contact. And a few channel shout outs before I do go. We had Jordan Jack Rabbit in the chat earlier on. He has set up a new channel. I think he called it, what was it? Jordan Jack Rabbit's podcast or something like that, or Jack Rabbit's podcast or something. If you're still in the chat, Jack, could you put that in your channel in, please? We got Scottish Starverse and Friends Wrestle with Pop Culture also in the chat. Go and check out their channel. Dan from the Spacebook also, Queen Charlotte, does feature on that channel as well. And as I said, Cultivated Media, aka Ballstreck. So if you have subbed to his channel before and have unsubbed because he left, well, he's back now. So if you want to resubscribe, if you haven't subscribed to him, go and check out his latest video. Go and check out Gobby Guy's channel as well, where he talks with John the White, and they talk all things Doctor Who. There, he's also covered some of the Noel Clarke stuff, which I will be getting me. I've got a lot of other stuff that I have to get out there in regards to this Noel Clarke situation that I was supposed to put out about a month ago. I will start getting around to it. We will be starting off with the Guardian newspaper and all of their lies, and they've been accused also of bullying. We've got some articles to read about how the Guardian does things, and then of course we will be doing the whole other thing as well, where we'll be discussing this whole Noel Clarke situation, and I will be showing you some evidence. So yeah, I will give you future details on that, but I am just in case some people think I've abandoned that. I haven't. I just, as I said, I've explained earlier today, I just, over the last few weeks and month, I just haven't been right. I've just been a bit off, a bit tired. Still been doing all the things I've needed to do, but I've just felt a little bit more drained, lack of energy and stuff like that. So, and I just haven't been well with my stomach either. So it's just one of those things that happen. You go through these phases, as you know. And PD is obviously throwing all the channels in there for you guys to go and subscribe to. And also he'll put in some of his suggestions also in the chat there. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We had about 19 people watching. We got about 10 now at the moment. So just before you do leave, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you to all the new people that have subscribed to the channel recently. I don't know where it's come out of, but thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And if you could do me a favor and subscribe to all of those beautiful people in the chat that we just spoke about and those channels, that would be absolutely superb. And also help with the algorithm, if you wouldn't mind, if there's that you weren't able to get across in the comment section here, the live chat here, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of that and we spoke about on the channel today, and give me your opinion. So I will leave it there for now, folks. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I would say we're going to have a great evening here, but we literally have it's a miserable out. It's like, you know, to talk about this climate change, you know, how the earth is getting hotter and stuff. Well, it's literally lashing raining out there and it's absolutely freezing. You think we were still in winter. So, you know, I think someone has been telling us a few porcupines. That's where I stand on that. I think someone's been telling us a few porkies, because that is not the weather I was expecting. And we just want to thank the following channel members, by the way. I keep forgetting to put this banner up, but I want to thank James Dawson, Paulie 1986, Problem Being, Lord Thought, TARDIS Spider, Chris Persia, Bobby D 75, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, The Wolf and the Storm, Digby Strawbridge, Garbage, and Patrick Milson. So I want to thank all of our channel members that have supported the channel so far. As I said, we will have a membership stream for you guys on Thursday. For the rest of you as well, I will see you tonight for the Chill Zone with myself, PD Rich, I think, and Queen Charlotte. So come and join us for that at 6:30 tonight, half an hour earlier than scheduled. And we will see you then. See you later, Scottish Stavros. See you later, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.